I'm going to tell you the biggest mistake that 99% of people are going to make. They're not going to be able to participate in this wealth transfer that we are witnessing right now because of this one thing. But you're going to be able to participate because you're going to pay attention to everything I say in this episode and take action on it. That thing is they're going to be investing based on an illusion. And most people are participating in the illusion. And I want to help you break free of the illusion and start seeing reality for what it is. But I want you to base your investing on real things, and I want to show you how to avoid the illusion. But before I go into it, I'm gonna break down the illusion, this whole entire illusion that they are setting up a stage in front of you and performing. We got to break it down. Before we break it down, I need to give you a history of how we got to this version of the illusion. All right, y'all, you already know the deal. This is for entertainment and information purposes only. This is not investment advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. So make sure that you proceed with caution, do your own research, do your own due diligence. Every investment takes on a risk of loss of your money. You can lose your money. Keep that in mind. This is not financial advice. So with that being said, enjoy. So, as the world is doing its thing, burning or whatever you want to call it, something crazy happens in the news every single solitary day.
Right.
This whole entire illusion that they are setting up a stage in front of you and performing, because the illusion has been happening for a long time. We got to break it down. Before we break it down, I need to give you a history of how we got to this version of the illusion.
And the illusion just what alters your perception of what is real.
That's a whole nother conversation about what is real.
Well, when I think of an illusion, I think of a like a magician or something like that, or manipulation
of your perception.
Okay.
And that's really everything that's happening. This version of the illusion is based on two very important things. Okay. So first of all, last episode we talked about how we are due for a market correction, and we were just about to have one right before the pandemic happened. All right. So what kind of built up to that market correction was that current version of the perception of reality. So we were just off of coming up out of the fact that 3 years prior, we had the first black president. And that got a lot of people very upset. I know some of y'all may be arguing like, no, we overcame racism. No, people didn't like it. And what I want you to think about, the level of frustration, is that whole Dawn Staley argument that they had at the women's basketball game. That argument was so left, but you can tell it was a lot of pent up anger. He could no longer contain himself because he's like, why does this chick from North Philly keep winning? I need to be winning. I don't like this. So he just couldn't control himself anymore. So you know that was a result of a lot of arguments that he had in the mirror. Okay. Well, she ain't did nothing wrong but win. This is what we're here for. And you gonna get up in her face? No, North Philly, you shouldn't be winning. This is my game. This is what I do. North Philly, you can't be winning. Okay. So this is how a lot of people were feeling. Like, I mean, I get that he is like the bomb, and I got my issues with Obama. But like, I get that he got it going on. He's presidential material. He's a great orator. He's accomplished. None of that matters. How dare a black man control my world? I don't like it. Okay, so that just created a whole situation where people were like, okay, we don't like this. Then this was the second thing that was the straw that broke the camel's back, which was the example of that game that Dawn Staley had. Like, because all this stuff was building and they're just walking around like, I'm angry, but I'm okay. I'm angry, but I'm okay. Here's the straw that broke the camel's back. When COVID happened, we all know that the government responded by pumping a lot of money in the economy. It kind of, remember, we were due for a market correction. Everything was building up to it. And then like, oh my goodness, COVID happened. Like, you know, COVID is upon us. Like, what are we going to do? The government says, okay, we're going to pump all this money into the economy. And the first wave of all of that, what ended up happening was regular people increased their income more than wealthy people. Okay? Wealthy people increase their income nominally more, but the percentage wise, it was something like literally a double of regular people's money. All right? Wealthy people increase their income something like 15%.
So And the person who dropped those COVID packs or the COVID stimulus is the same person who is in office now.
Correct.
And I think based upon what you were saying, like as far as like, I don't like it, he had to one up the previous guy who was just in office, which was Obama. So he had to do something that made himself look even greater.
Right.
Like
But it's semi-backfired. One, because he couldn't fully control where everything went.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, people stayed at home and they educated themselves. They felt empowered. They spent it on information products. They invested. They saved a lot of money.
Yeah.
So Ivory Towers and the Epsteinians, they got mad. And so I'm sorry if you're new to this show. The Ivory Towers and the Epsteinians.
Yes, please break that down.
Let me break it down.
I had to ask you.
Even though we came up with it together, I never shared my thought on why I'm calling them the Ivory Tower and Epsteinians.
Mm-hmm.
Epsteinians are people who are directly related to Epstein, or maybe one person removed related to Epstein. These are really wealthy people who at the end of the day are very conscious of the fact that my wealth, my financial gain is directly related, or I should say indirectly related to suppressing other people. Like, I don't care what evil I got to do. I don't care, because y'all not human. And it doesn't matter to me. I know I'm separate. I got to keep y'all down. I'm wealthy. And I'm going to do wild things. Not all the Epsteinians are doing perverse things, but they all doing wild things. So I got to do wild things to stay wealthy. These are like typically rich people. Ivory Tower people may not be directly connected to them, but they're also aware of this bifurcation of the economy that has happened since the beginning of time.
Right.
Whereas the rich are up here and y'all are down here, and I'm separate from y'all. So what happens up here, and I hear it often when I listen to just different podcasts or I watch the news. They're talking about the market, and then they talk about lower income people as a separate entity. When at the end of the day, we are all one American economy. Everybody is impacted and affected. And the reality is most people are not up here. The majority of the people are lower income, middle to lower income. Y'all are just a very few. So that's why I call them Ivory Towers, because they want to stay in their tower. They don't even ever want to come down. They think, hey, this is the world, this is the majority of the world, even though you only make up a few people. Okay? They probably not doing wild stuff like the Epsteinians, but they have the similar interests. Okay? I also want to make sure that I differentiate between Ivory Tower and Epsteinian. So you got poor rich people, like, so if you think about sliding income or wealth scale, right? So you got poor rich people and rich poor people. And sometimes it overlaps. A rich poor person can sometimes be more wealthy than a poor rich person. So it's not just about money, it's about the mindset. A rich poor person,
that was deep.
A rich poor person will think about the totality. Right? They think about everything. They try to figure out how to align interests, and they realize wrong is wrong, and like, my financial gain is not worth suppressing other people. Okay? And so also the other thing that why I like to differentiate between Epsteinians and Ivory Towers is because I don't want us to, any of you on this show, to have the idea of a conflicting belief that if you're rich, you're a bad person. Those things are mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
I know some awful broke people. Awful.
Me too.
Awful human beings.
Know a lot of them.
Right. I know some very, very good-hearted, super rich people will lay down their money. Mackenzie Bezos, our girl, y'all know she invited to the cookout, okay? And not just because she gives away her wealth, but because she really genuinely cares. Who knows what happened, but she seems like she genuinely cares.
I would argue Warren Buffett is one of those individuals.
I can't argue against it, but I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
He's super rich and he never said nothing wild publicly. and never did nothing, or I won't say never did nothing about, but like I ain't never seen it.
And he has a plan to like give away majority of his net worth after he's gone to like charity. So,
and even then, I don't want to equate giving away wealth to being a good rich person. I think you can be a good rich person, not give away your wealth, but also know, hey, this money don't define me. And if it came down to the wire, I would, you know, if it was like between me and I'm not going to put my wealth over human lives.
that's fair.
Okay. So that's why that is the definition of ivory towers and abstinence, and why I clump them together, why they're separate, and also separate from, okay?
Nicole theism.
Nicole theism.
Nicoleology.
Nicoleology.
Okay.
All right. So ivory towers, abstinence was feeling a way about the fact that people felt empowered once they got the effects of the stimulus money. And so now, behind the scenes, this is a theory. Let me be very, very clear. It's a theory, but most of y'all probably going to agree with me. Real quick, this is a great moment. This is why you need to be on our newsletter list. I break everything down. If you are a regular viewer of this show and on the newsletter, please let them know how much I break it all down in the newsletter. You need to get the full picture. Some of y'all understand things better when you read it and you see the outline. I know the show is entertaining and I'll be giving y'all game, but I really give a full game away in the newsletter. Go to the link down below, sign up for the newsletter. It is absolutely free. Sign up right now. This is a theory. Let me be very, very clear. It's a theory, but most of y'all probably going to agree with me. But there was a concerted effort to, one, figure out how to shift this wealth out of people's hands and into the storage of wealthy people. Okay? Because we all can't be empowered. That is not the way things are done. Okay? So the first thing that happened, most of y'all argue that a lot of these numbers are fudged.
Right.
Okay? So there's that. The first thing that happened that took wealth out of their pockets, and we can argue that this was part of the perception, was inflation.
Break that down.
So inflation literally almost took away their increase of income. Right? Because inflation rose at a similar rate. Like, let's say that, I think the numbers are the income went up 21%. Inflation, like, you know, we counted all together, went up 20%. All right? So you didn't end up getting any more money.
Yeah, you broke even.
But here's a theory. 20 years ago, the way the Fed controlled the money supply was obviously through the Fed funds rate, right? The way that they did it, it wasn't based on real inflation. What they did was they took surveys of people and got what their sentiment about inflation was 5 and 10 years ahead. This is known. And so they said, hey, if they interviewed 10 people, hey, where do you think inflation is going to be in 5 years? And if they say, oh, I'm not going to be able to afford as much stuff. So they use that to determine what the rates were.
Right.
To try to control people's perception of what inflation was, and thus controlling reality. Controlling their spending. Okay?
Okay.
Don't think they're not doing that now. So let's come back into the situation. I'm not here to say, hey, inflation didn't happen. But what I am saying is, it is all a public perception. So inflation happened, but that money didn't stay circulating in the economy. Where did the money go?
Yeah, and that's actually a good one, because I was doing some research about that as far as like, where did the money go? And they pumped, I think I saw something about like 9 trillion liquidity, pumped 9 trillion into the economy in such a short span. Like
9 trillion? Are you sure that's a number?
Between 4 and 9 trillion.
Let's say 4. That still sounds like an insane number.
Between 4 and 9 trillion was pumped, and then we did some off-camera research about like median income, and that didn't rise for 4 to 9 trillion to be pumped. Median income didn't rise like that. What this says is the money They thought the money would run like consumer, would go into businesses, would go into jobs, which would go into wages, and then the cycle would repeat, which is a classic cycle of how that normally
I don't
happens.
want to say that's what they thought happened. I think that's what we thought would happen. That's what average person thought would happen.
Yeah.
Some kind of way, the Ivory Towers and the Epsteinians, that money, guess where it went?
That's the main question. Where did the money go?
First place it went to, stocks. Second place, we'll go back in a minute. Second place it went to, real estate. We already know real estate went up 50%, 40 to 50%. Okay. The third place, corporate holdings. Took that bread y'all was spending at the businesses, and they said, we're going to save it. And the last place that it went to was private equity, private credit. So you already know from a couple of episodes ago, we're in a private credit crisis. I'm calling it a crisis. No one wants to really call it that, but I've been calling it a crisis for a minute because it's a problem.
So that money didn't necessarily go into like consumer hands. I mean, it did,
It went
but
right back to the Epsteinians and the Ivory Towers.
right there in the concentrated area.
Okay, so private credit, we're going to talk about that for just a half a second. And we'll probably do in the next couple of weeks, we'll do a updated version of the private credit crisis, just to, because a lot of stuff has happened. But what I want you to see is private credit is a shadow banking system in which large corporations can operate. During this time period, private credit exploded. Like literally the money went out of your hands and directly into these private credit funds. And guess what they are financing?
I don't know. What?
25 up to 25% of it is financing tech and AI.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a story came out about a week ago, maybe a little over a week ago, on the Wall Street Journal, which said that, hey, these private credit companies, they're saying their exposure to tech and AI is much lower than what it is, because if you have a tech business that services another industry, instead of classifying it as a tech business, they're classifying it as that other industry. So let's say, for instance, you come out with you had a tech idea for the trucking business. And so let's say you got financing from a private credit business, and what they would do is they would classify it as a trucking business versus a technology business, which is what it is. Okay, thus making everybody seem like the exposure is not so AI or tech heavy. A couple things I want to talk about before we move on with private credit about this whole shadow banking industry. It's a huge problem because, number one, the private credit businesses are investing in each other, and thus they're also insured. And guess who supports the insurance businesses? Private equity. Private credit is financing private equity. Private equity is being insured, or these loans are being insured by the insurance business, and it's being supported by private equity. It's just a huge ball of nonsense. And you already know how I feel about there's an insurance crisis as well. We'll get into that later. But it's just a huge ball of nonsense that is eventually going to be a very huge problem. But the biggest problem that it has right now is it's heavily invested in tech and AI. So this means all of that stimulus money, not all of it, but a majority of the stimulus money that the government pumped into the economy.
Let's not even say
AI.
stimulus money. Let's just say liquidity that they pumped in. Majority of the liquidity that was out there.
I'm weighing the difference of why I want to say the stimulus money versus the liquidity. I don't know. Stimulus money feels a little more comfortable to me. Let me tell you why I don't want to say liquidity. I don't want to say liquidity because liquidity is all about the flow of currency. You can have liquidity if money is moving, a little bit amount of money is moving very fast through the system. Okay?
Which it did, but it didn't, which is the weirdest part about it.
It did at first. It very quickly, within a year, went from the government to the consumer to private credit.
Rapidly.
Very rapidly. So that's liquidity, because also those private credit companies is also lending to local and small businesses. Some of it, not all of it. Private equity, so on and so forth, and then it's coming back around. As long as it's moving very rapidly. Can be a little bit of money. As long as it's moving very rapidly, you can also have more money come in, and then people put it in their pockets. That's illiquid. Liquidity is all about acceleration of money. So that's why I don't want to equate it to them pumping the money in.
Well, no, I'm agreeing with you. Okay. What I'm saying is the liquidity happened. It happened very rapidly, and it dried up just as fast.
It dried up just as fast.
Yeah, that's my whole.
Okay, but the moral of the story is the money went from the government in some kind of way, landed into funding AI. Not some kind of way, but it ended up going into funding AI. Here is the bad thing about AI. Number one, the U.S., all of our economy's eggs is in this basket. So in order, especially on the Epsteinian and ivory tower level, in order for them to win, AI has to win. Because 40% of the S&P 500 is in tech stocks. Is that the number? It's 40%, right?
What percentage of S&P is tech as of 4/7/2026? 33.63%.
Okay. 33.
And the magnificent seven concentration alone accounts for 32.5% of the total index.
Okay. 33% of the S&P 500 is in AI. A Wall Street Journal report just came out and said 25% of private equity is invested in tech and AI. So our whole entire, on top of the fact that, let's not forget, we got a lot of eggs in the basket with crypto too. That's a U.S. thing. That's that we didn't decide that this is our industry. Okay. The entire U.S. economy, from an ivory tower and Epsteinian, and obviously it's going to trickle down, is all hinging on the success of AI, even if it means millions of you losing your job. So the Epsteinians are literally saying to you in your faces, hey, AI has got to do its thing. We don't care if you can't feed your family. We don't care.
Yeah, they literally said it recently. Who
faces, all of them.
That company that sent out what, 30, did you see that? 30,000 emails?
All of them. Sorry, I know you want to, all of them, because every single CEO have said something. I'm going to go to this and have said something like, now this is where I want to get to the perception of controlling your reality. So I just linked everything for you. Linked it all. Okay? So because the whole economy is hinged on that, now they are going on all the podcasts. I guarantee you, if we dug deep and figured this out, they had a meeting and we was like, okay, y'all all going to go to podcasts. This is going to be the messaging. All go on podcasts and try to convince you that in the future, you're not going to be able to live without AI. I literally saw, I'm pretty sure that it was your boy, Elon, say, yeah, if I were you, I would not study to be a doctor, because in the future, AI is going to do all the surgeries and be doctors.
He said it. I saw when he said it. Yeah.
Yo, I wanted to jump through that screen and drop.
No.
So just real quick, me and Brandon had a whole conversation. I like quiet luxury. I love these shoes, but I sold almost all my red bottoms for the exception of this one. So I'm not trying to brag about the fact that I got red bottoms on. It just so happened to convince that was the first thing I really wanted to do.
Yeah, drop kick.
Because why would you say that? Why would you say that? So he's relying on a dark ages of humanity to further this AI thing because America put all its chips in the basket. And so they're going to try to continue to convince you that you need it. The worst that I've seen in this whole thing is social media. I'm so glad this was over. For a good 3-4 months, you go on your timeline, all you saw was AI.
Yeah.
AI influencers.
Mm-hmm.
I just out of spite, I'm scrolling past it. Like, I don't want the algorithm to think I like this. This is awful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Put your camera on, put your lip gloss on, make video.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the people, like, some of the people in my space, I got my AI stunt twin, and the AI twin is sitting there just like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what you're going to do if... Back to
the illusion.
And I'm glad people was like, no, we don't want this.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need you reliant on it. We don't even want you making your own content.
Mm.
That's crazy. And so all of them are saying things like, I think Sam Altman was like, he just had a baby, or he adopted a baby. I don't know how to, because, he's not straight. So I don't know how he had a baby. I don't know either.
I don't know.
But he has a new child.
Okay.
Okay. And so that he says on the thing, he says, I would never raise a child without AI.
Mm.
Guess what? Humans been doing it for 200,000 years at least.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what y'all scientists is telling us, that this version of Homo sapien been around for 200,000 years. Not to mention the other Homo erectus, the other species, they had babies the same way too.
Without the AI.
Without AI.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to convince you that you can't do basic stuff like write an email.
Mm-hmm.
You can't survive without AI because they've put all the eggs in the basket. So they're going to continue to create an illusion for you through economic indicators, stock market numbers.
Mm-hmm.
All of it is an illusion. Y'all say, I asked y'all a while ago on multiple places, do y'all think that the economic indicators are fudged or not? And not almost all of y'all, I got a lot of comments. It was like, no, we don't believe the numbers. They lying. That's not what unemployment is. That's not what the GDP is.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what inflation is. You don't believe them. Okay. Here's the other thing about why the numbers are fudged, or that would support the argument that the numbers are fudged.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just real quick, y'all. We do all of this. I like to have this be my original idea, so I don't rely at all, pretty much, on AI. But what I do is take the transcript and I run it through AI and do a fact check, just to make sure we're not saying nothing stupid. There's been a couple times where you and me, Brandon's like, no, that number.
That was that blue owl. That was a blue owl.
Yeah, we had a whole argument about Blue Owl's numbers, and I'm like, Brandon, look at Blue Owl's numbers. So that's neither here nor there. And so I already know when I make strong statements based on conspiracy, it'd be like, you said this, and that's not true. Mind your business.
Mm-hmm.
I leave in what I want to leave in. Okay? Mind your business. Telling you right now.
That part.
Okay. Here's the other thing about why there are incentives. If you do believe that they do fudge the economic indicators, why they are incentivized to do it. Because this wasn't always like this. Mm-hmm. Because the health of the economy is politicized. And it wasn't always like this from a granular, like down to a term, right? And so like, hey, doesn't matter what the previous person did when they were in office. As soon as you step in place, if you don't fix the thing on day one, that's on your dime. Okay? So let's say, for instance, Donald Trump, he always blaming something on Joe Biden.
Right.
That's hilarious. Because he can ask you about anything. How'd you sleep last night? I slept horribly. It was Joe Biden's fault.
He tends to blame it on anything outside of himself.
That's what I'm saying.
Just anything outside of it.
But that's
anybody,
the go-to.
anything.
That's the go-to.
But Biden, oh yeah.
It'd be funny how all of them, not just him, all his little circle, they always looping back to Biden. Like, How can some one person control your whole life like this? You'll wrap your whole life around
Y'all
Joe
think
Biden.
50 Cent bad, boy. You don't want beef. You don't want beef with Donald Trump now.
Donald Trump got 3 targets: Joe Biden, Obama, and Gavin Newsom. I think he's jealous of Gavin Newsom because they so handsome, so articulate, and he's not. Like, now, I'm not even a Gavin Newsom fan, but I think he just straight up jealous. Like, Gavin Newsom is minding his business. Why are you talking about him? Obama's minding his business. Why are you ringing him up?
This guy's mad, man. This guy is mad.
The Mad King. Okay. It is, go back to, so he brings up Joe Biden. In those instances, there are instances sometimes when he is suffering the effects of what happened with Joe Biden. And even 2 terms ago, when his term, and even 3 terms ago with Obama. This is what it is. But because we have politicized it so much, I don't want, they can't have these numbers out because we're going to immediately blame that person. Immediately. It can never just be like, just this is what it is. I want to do a quick aside real quick. This war, you and I were having a conversation offline about this war and how it's increasing the public perception. And I want you all to never forget this as long as you are an American. I've been saying this for a very long time. Yeah, probably about 20 years. When you start coming of age and you start looking at how all these other countries rank above America for GDP, quality of life, education, so on and so forth. And then you realize that America doesn't rank for anything. And with the exception of nominal wealth, but like wealth per capita, we're not it.
Yeah.
That's Qatar, last time I checked. It might be another country right now, but like per capita wealth, they blow us out the water. So the reason why America is the greatest country, while it was considered the greatest country for so long, 3 things. Let's say nominal wealth. Okay. But again, that doesn't really mean anything if per capita, we out here slumming it. Okay? Per person. Right? That, if you guys don't know what that means. Okay. So I'm going to scratch that one out. The real first thing. Our military. You guessed it right. Some of you guessed it right. The military. We have the largest, most valuable, craziest, wildest military. We spend the most money on our military. Not a terrible strategy. The industrial military complex. It is a whole entire system. Okay? The second thing, which is actually more important than any other thing, has always been branding. We have done a great job of establishing the brand of being whatever America used to mean. We have done a great job. We are the greatest. That was just like, the greatest. What does that mean? Nobody knows. It's provocative.
But it gets the people going.
But it gets the people going. We're the greatest. The greatest what? Doesn't matter. We were great at branding. That's important, right? Y'all got to remember, in this country, the things that are important to us is not typically what's important to different cultures around the world. And so in America, the thing that is very unique about America is we put money and status above all. A lot of other cultures have more honor than us. And so we brought him in and nobody really respected him in terms of honor. And so I knew on a global level that was going to kill our brand. It's so bad now that you have people calling him a moron and an idiot so willy-nilly. Like, people don't even care. Like that guy, Predictive History, the Asian guy over in China who is the
IQ
history teacher.
Oh, okay.
No, he's a history
I thought you were
economics.
talking about the guy with like the smartest IQ or something like
Oh,
that.
no. He's a history teacher, high school teacher in China who records his lectures, and he's predicting everything that's happening. Okay, you've seen his stuff before. You just don't realize that you're looking at a history teacher. He's been on national TV because he's going viral and people respect what he's saying so much. Shout out to y'all when y'all want to bring me on, because y'all know I'll be predicting some stuff. Okay, I'm ready. Let me know. Connect me. Faces made for the citizens. Bring me on. He be literally calling Donald Trump moron every 3 minutes. So that means our brand has deteriorated so much.
Of the great America. He's the president of the great America. And they're calling him a moron.
Is it great now?
That's a question. That's a question to be argued.
But he was supposed to be make America great again.
Wow. I totally forgot the slogan. Make America great again. And
Now,
he
here
has
was the
besmudged the name of America.
Here was the problem with the whole Make America Great Again. I never had a platform to say this. This is in my head and amongst maybe like a few people that I knew can stomach these conversations from me. Here was the problem with Make America, that slogan. If in 2015, if you are saying, and this is why I'm going to say this to each and every one of you, what you name your business is so important, more important than you know. So if you say, or what you name your business or your slogan or your brand or whatever, if you're saying Make America Great Again, right? First of all, what you are indicating to the universe, God, however you want to align this, because I have a theory about how this all works, is a person who is a believer and very much so know that God controls all this all. I'm using the word universe for a reason, and we can talk about that in a minute. Which you are indicating to the universe that there is a separation of you now, between you now and greatness. Now. Make America great again. That's indicating that you are not great right now. And so what the universe is always going to do is magnify and multiply. Oh, you're not great right now? Okay. I'll give you more of what you want. And so as I'm seeing, like, I get what y'all getting at. I'm going to remove myself from this emotionally. But this is not good. If y'all are saying we are not great right now, and in 2015, the economy was thriving.
It was. Perception. Illusion.
So the universe said, let me give y'all a little more than what y'all got. Y'all really that unhappy? Real estate was up. We back. 7 years later, we back. Y'all still not happy? This is how I'll be looking, because I have a small child. I have a 5-year-old. And so, like, I'm not big on giving him an iPhone. I don't do a lot of screen time in my house. I try not to. I hope I don't. I don't do a lot of screen time in my house. But if I do screen time, it's the result of either a reward or like, I just need to shut you up for just a second because I need to do something or something like that. Right? And so if you're on the screen and you're complaining about something, I take it away. Because the whole point is I'm giving it to you to shut up.
This is what you wanted.
But you're telling me that I can't win.
Walk me through that.
I don't really want to give you this screen. If you're going to be on the screen and whining about something, I might as well take it away. You'll still whine. I don't want you to have the screen.
Okay.
So I think about that, and I think about that's how God responds to us in reality. Listen, I put you over here because I love you and I don't feel like hearing you cry. Now, granted, this is coming from my lens, right? But like, if you're going to complain while you got all this stuff going, I don't even really want you to be with that person. I don't even really want you at that job. I don't really want you I don't know, whatever, hanging out with them people. I'm only allowing you to do it because I love you so much. And you told me this is what you really wanted. So if you're going to complain anyway, how about I take the thing from you? Because I didn't want to hear you complain. This is my logic about my son. The reason I gave you the op-ed was so you can shut up. I need silence for 5 minutes. I got to do this thing on the computer. We got to do member. Got to welcome them. And so when you say we're the richest country in the world, but we're not happy, God is like, I don't even like how y'all behaving, and I love you so much. I have blessed you, and you telling me you're not happy? So let me take this away, because you won't cry anyway. So now, guess what? Them same people that was screaming MAGA, they get all on the internet right now like, we made a mistake.
We made a mistake.
Marjorie Green Taylor, I'm sorry, y'all. We tried to tell you. The people tried to tell you, man. We made a mistake. Now he's got us at war. We literally told you.
Yeah.
In regular English words. So now you have no job. And the economy's to SHIT.
Well, as you say that too, and when I think about like the history of what I've done as far as like, because you know, I do the stock thing, and I know you, but so I research about it before I do it. But the history of it is a trend based upon presidential candidacy and the political party that is in office. And
there's a trend behind. Okay, talk to me.
So essentially, like you said,
Republicans make us money and Democrats don't. What'd you say?
It's not even that, but it is like you said earlier. The effects of what happened in the previous office kind of trickle down to who's in office now. So everything that was happening pre 2000, when was Trump elected the first time? 2016 or 2015?
I guess he was 2016.
Not saying anything about Obama. I think people have their own personal opinions about it or whatnot. Now, during that time frame he was in office, though, we had just came from that turmoil, from that long span. Now we were in a recovery stage. That there was a point in his last stages of that second term where the market did need to correct, and there was a correction that was on the brink of happening, right? And that's like halfway through his last term, which led into Trump. But Trump is so pro-ego and egotistic. And
he couldn't give him the credit?
It's not even giving him the credit. It's about what you said earlier.
He got to be the one to do the thing.
No correction on my turn. No correction on my watch. Like a correction, a bear market goes into the political party that is in office too as well. So with that happening and that being on the tail end, because to actually stable out the economy, so that correction does need to happen for it to level out.
The bear market.
And some type of not stability, but some type of what
prediction, less volatility. More ability to predict, and it's just healthy for economies to cycle through.
A healthy reset, but egotistically, not on his watch. Like,
he don't care.
And it was like, yeah, I see this is what's trending towards, and it might, it might need to happen. But he said no, like, I know how to not make it happen. And matter of fact, I don't think they had a plan. Of course they didn't, and I don't think he had a plan of what would happen after he says, you know what, not on my watch, no market correction, because you're not gonna look at me and say I led y'all into a recession.
This is another, I'm about to go on a little bit of a tangent. I just had this conversation with a really good friend of mine. There are some social media business owners whose businesses aren't doing very well. I don't even want to give them. I'll say their names because I got their backs on this. So we got Pinky Cole and then Uncle Nearest, Fawn Weaver, right? And so they're both having some, they have large companies and they're both having some issues. And one of the things I really don't like within the black culture in economics is how we do not ever let each other have no losses.
Right.
I hate that. Meanwhile, in other cultures, in 2016, that's when I filed my first bankruptcy. And then I just started the other business and I'm doing well. And no one cares. Why do we got to be all up in her business? I don't want to know. What I was just saying, I would love to sit down with her and not talk about that. The thing that I would like to talk about, let's go through your mentals of how you're getting back.
Yeah.
Like just the mental talk. I would love to talk about that, but I don't want to talk. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because this is part of the game.
The whole tone of the conversation is different. Like on one aspect, going through that is like, oh yeah, it happened. It's like, yeah, like it's so normal that it could happen, right? It's so normal that it could happen. It's just like, oh, that's a part of the game. That's a part of the game. And then on the other tone,
you are an awful person. It's
you're a failure.
It's this beef that I'm seeing online. I do not want to get roped into this. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to talk about these two people. It's an influencer who does a lot of stock trading, and then there's another account who literally looks at every trade that he has under a microscope. Can he not make money on every trade, please? In silence? That's what the game is.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think so. But, yeah.
Why do we, can people just not win every single solitary moment of the day? That's part of being human. Okay, I digress. That same thing is on a federal level, right? Nobody can have a loss. But guess where it's not? Local government level. They don't politicize every loss. On the local government level, I think people understand that there are so many things out of the government's control that because losses are not politicized as much, the numbers are still real.
On the local level.
Yes, on a local level. Which brings it all the way to my point about looking at local numbers, economic indicators, is how you're going to breach the illusion and know what's going on quicker. We talked about this a little bit in a previous episode. This is how you're going to look at reality for what it is. Okay? This is also how you're going to get information before everyone else. So I'm going to give you a set of things that you're going to look at. But for each of these things, you're going to need to differentiate. If you invest in public markets, for all my stock peeps out there, shout out to all of y'all. Y'all know that ain't my thing. I got a couple members in our community in the Profit Door where shout out to all our new members.
Valda. I got Jasmine.
Shout out to Valda. Hey, Jazz.
I got Ronald.
What's up, Ronald?
Percival.
What's up, Percival?
Winnell. Margie.
Listen, what's up, Margie? I can't wait till our call. We got our new call scheduled.
Gregory.
Shout out to all of y'all.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of y'all. Thank y'all for joining. But a couple of y'all of our seasoned members, they be giving me stock tips. I'm here for that. I'll take stock tips from people that I trust, but y'all know that ain't my thing. I'm not here to give y'all no specific stock tips, okay? I want you to take everything that I'm sharing with you, and for those of you who trade in the public markets, I want you to take all this data, and I want you to figure out how you can research your companies and find out where they are based and where their customers are based, and look at those local markets to determine the health of that business, okay? For those of you who like to invest in small businesses, private investing and or private equity and or apartment investing, that's what I do. It's going to be much more evident as to how you're using this data on these local markets to choose what you're going to invest in and where you're going to invest. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, cool. The first thing you're going to look at is local unemployment and job trends. Okay? Look at them in your city. Just Google city unemployment job trends, BLS. Look it up. You want to make sure that unemployment is level, is at a steady number. Try to look for cities that have unemployment numbers that are better than the national average. But most importantly, you want to look at trends.
Would you go as far as to suggest look at that at bigger cities, New York, Atlanta, Los Angeles? No.
No, you can find some really great. It depends on what we can't give blanket advice on this because it really all depends on what industry you're in, what you're
Okay.
looking at, so on and so
What
forth.
your market is too.
Right.
Okay.
There may be some opportunities. Obviously, if you're looking at the larger cities, it's going to be less opportunity, less possibility of opportunity. I won't say less. That's wrong. Less possibility of an opportunity, but it can still exist, and it all depends on the industry. So there is no wrong or right answer.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
Okay. For like apartment investing, like for instance, for apartment investing, you can find some little pocket, small towns in Texas. They towns you never even heard of. Okay. Noel's got an apartment building in Texas that's outperforming in some town. I can never remember the name of this town. The next one is my favorite. Let me also be clear before I go into this next one. A lot of this stuff that I'm sharing, your Big Short guy, Michael
Burry.
My favorite scene when I saw the movie, I don't remember anything about it, but the scene that stuck out to me the most, because I already knew this, is when they flew to the cities and knocked on the doors. So a lot of this stuff that I'm giving you, depends on what you're investing in, depends on it's worth it. Go to the city, knock on the doors, walk around, go to city council, go to talk to people, go in city hall. You will get so much value out of it. I'm going to come back about what you can do in person and how much it will tell you so much more about where and what you're investing in person than any of the major economic indicators. I'm going to come back around to that in a minute. But this next one is commercial vacancies. Okay? Drive around. Look at how many for rent signs you see. You can look some of this stuff up online. Cushman and Wakefield, CBRE. You can look and see what the vacancies are online, but drive around, call and see, hey, how much is this space, this commercial space in downtown in the high rise? Okay, is it super affordable? Is it not? Look at trends. Of course, you always going to have to look at trends. I always love to drive around and I'm always looking at commercial spaces in local shopping plazas, but local shopping plazas that are very close adjacent to heavily foot traffic places. If it's heavily foot traffic or adjacent to heavy foot traffic places, and there's a lot of for rent signs, that's not a good sign. It means there's people here and nobody wants to set up a business here. Okay? So you're going to have to really understand that local city market telling you everything you need to know beforehand. I remember, I'm going to just pause for a second. I'll never forget this. So we're going to go back like 20, 25 years ago. There was a story, and if you remember this, shout out to you because it's very specific. There was a story about this kid who was trading stock market, and he was winning on like pink sheet stocks. And so what he would do is try to get his parents to take him to find these little stocks of these little businesses, take him to the business so he can see what's going on in the business. I mean, he's traveling all around the country. This is a teenager. And then he would go on message forums and like hype the stock up. So he was getting in trouble for doing that part because you're manipulating the stock.
Yeah. But
he was like, his argument is like, I'm going and researching them and I see that this is a really valuable business. So I'm just telling my friends about it. That was what it was. But he was winning big time doing this. Okay?
Yeah.
Listen, any city I go to, I'm always asking restaurateurs, agents, servers, hey, how is it? Are y'all doing well? I always ask. You go out of town, you go on a vacation, you go to a restaurant, go to a local restaurant, ask them how they're doing. It's telling me, like, I don't have a particular investment in mind, but it helps me to be able to see the market more than anything. Are people coming into the restaurant? What is it doing today versus a year ago versus 6 months ago? The next thing that you're going to look for, this is why I am big on you guys having your own businesses. Because it is an indicator, economic indicator for what's happening overall. It is a type of indicator for what's happening overall. I'm never not going to have my own small business that I can keep my hand on a pulse, because I know, we talked about this at the end of the last episode, I know I'm a good business person. If I'm not doing well, something's happening.
Yeah.
Something is happening, because it's going to hit me in the gut before it hits Apple.
Yeah.
Okay?
True.
So look at delinquencies or mispayments in your business, or a shrinkage. This is another thing. Join as many communities in your industry as possible and make friends. That was another thing that let me know that all the nonsense that's happening was going to happen, because I'm talking to my friends every day. I know she knows what she's doing. I know he is why he not winning?
Yeah. It goes back to the network. Goes back to who you're around.
And this is why
what
I
you
know.
tapped into. What you know.
Wish I could see Brandon behind me like, Nicole, here's your insert.
Wink. What it is.
Your network. Make sure you guys join the private investor network. Again, shout out to all our new members who are here. Listen, if y'all want access, I framework my thinking out, and like, y'all don't even get a scratch of what my members get, okay? Not to mention, we have sessions every week. Not to mention, we have a huge library that showcases other people's investing strategies and their investing style, but I have literally downloaded my brain into this thing, okay? Plus, for the time being, probably only for the next week or two, when you guys join, you get a 20-minute session with me where I'll go over your business, give you tips, all the things. And Brandon really wants me to give one person a 1-month scholarship. He wants me to give you a 3 months. I'm gonna give you a 1-month scholarship. And give you a 1-month scholarship into the Profit Door if you comment down below. What do they think the greatest illusion of this, the biggest illusion of this economy is? Like, what do you think the biggest fake economic indicator that's impacting this economy?
Okay,
right now?
I like that question.
What do you think?
Fake
Economic indicator. Is it GDP? Is it inflation? Is it any number that comes out? Unemployment? Any number that comes out? What do you think is the biggest fake one? Is a lie, or it impacts the economy? Like, what do you think the biggest fake one is?
The most fudged.
The most fudged, the most impactful number. What do you think it is? Let me down below. And so this is how we're going to make it random. I'm not going to select. Brandon's not going to select. Our member Yusuf, I know you're like, oh my God, me, yes, Yusuf, because most of our members watch all our videos. Yusuf, you're going to pick the person, okay? Yusuf, I know you didn't know I was thinking about you. Yusuf, pick the person that does the comment below, the best comment with the best fudge economic indicator down below. All right, the next thing I want you to look at and talk to, this one is a big one. Go and talk to the people at the local banks, because the local banks, remember I gave you a whole argument about how real estate is affected by all of this, right? It is the telltale sign of everything. Guess who does the commercial loans? The local regional banks. Go and make friends at the local regional banks. A lot of times, it's so easy to just be friendly with people at the local regional banks. The only bank, and not even just at the local regional banks, even the national bank, the only bank that I find that is a little more difficult to establish a more personal relationship with is Bank of America. I don't know, they keep the people like, even like, I'll give you an example. One of our longtime members that came from BTS, that's a member in TPD, she just posted something in our group chat the other day. She came because I used to bank, she joined, she's still a member to this day, because she used to be a teller, not a teller, she was a relationship manager. I used to come and I did a lot of banking. So like we we got cool. She know what's going on all up in my financial world. And then she joined. She's been a member for years.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm saying, and she was employed at a large national bank. But Find out what's going on, talk to these people, and you can ask them questions like, are you seeing more and more people coming in? Are you seeing less people? Are you seeing people get more approvals? They know. They be knowing everything. Develop those relationships and ask. It ain't like you got to know everybody. Just pick somebody, get cool with them. I had developed, y'all know me, I'm an extrovert. And so for y'all introverts, you got to put your extrovert hat on for just a half a second, okay?
Yeah.
Listen, my one guy, he got promotions. I'm in California. He all the way in Philadelphia. I'm sending him gifts. Followed, we become friends on social media. And then when you need to know stuff, you just ask them, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay? They will tell you what's happening with the economy before everybody gets a spoonful of jabroni soup.
Not the jabroni soup. Oh my goodness. Don't bring the jabroni soup back up and the jabroni toothpaste and the jabroni deodorant. Jabroni.
Okay. All right. Okay, I got a couple more. Look up sales tax revenue. This is easy. Every city publishes this. Okay? Sales tax revenue. Is it increasing? You want to look for trends. Don't just look at the number. Look at the previous year. Look at the year before that. Look at the year before. Go back like 10 years and look for trends. I already mentioned housing. Talk to the agents. Talk to the agents in the city. This one is easy. Call an agent in the city. Go on your Instagram. I used to recommend people do this all the time. Hey, if there's a city that you want to invest in, or you are looking at a particular stock and they do business heavily in this city, do all this work. You're going to gather all this data. Call the agent. Go on Instagram. Say, agent, this city. You're going to get a mixture. Look for somebody middle of the road, but you know they're serious about theirs. Close a couple deals. They doing this full time. Hey, Jane in Memphis. I just saw you on Instagram. I'm thinking about investing there. And can you tell me a little bit about the market, what you see, what the trends are? Call like 3 or 4 people. Try to get them to let their guard down and give you all the information. You want to find out everything you need to know. And guess what? This is their job, is to build relationships. So they're not going to not talk to you. Oh my God, you feel me on Instagram? Really? You probably end up on the phone with homegirl, homeboy for an hour. Okay? You get all the information. What do you see? What's going on? Just get all up in their business. Find out what neighborhoods, what do you see in downtown? That's one of the biggest ways I knew, especially with this housing. All the agents is not doing well.
Indicator.
Major. Business license, business openings, business license. This one might be a little bit difficult. There's a secret website that I use regularly for the city of Philadelphia. This website looked like it was made in 1965. It is so clunky, but it has business openings data on it. I'm sorry, I'm only sharing it with TPD members. Old BTS members, y'all had access to it. Y'all should know how to use it by now. But it's telling you everything you need to know. And you ain't gonna find, unless you know somebody who knows somebody. I don't know how I do know how I found it. This person is a complete nerd, and they shared it with me.
Hey.
Shout out to B. I don't think she watches the show. I don't know what B is doing, but shout out to you, B. You know who you are. If there is a major employer in that particular city, look at their health. That's always going to be public information. So like if you're looking at Philadelphia, I always give Philadelphia an example, eds, meds, and bags. Look at the major university. You know all their financials is public. Meds, look at the hospitals. Beds, look at the major hotels. Do the digging. Now here's one that is a major secret game changer. Local ad volume via Facebook ad library. We don't have a whole lot of time. You can ask chat, how can I research Facebook ad libraries to look at local ad volume? It will show you, because Facebook publishes ads libraries of businesses. And so if you're really serious about researching what's going on, you're gonna have to put your thinking cap on and research this. They give you the tool so that you can compare your ads, but you can use it for other things.
I didn't even know that.
I know. I always like to surprise you. I'll be surprising you every episode.
You do. Bust something out on me. We ain't talking about it. Like, we ain't talking about that.
That's what this show was all about. For me to bust your head open right on live on camera. And last but not least, this one is super simple. Population growth trends. Okay, that one is very public. Is the population increasing? Is it shrinking? Who is increasing? Who is shrinking? By financial demographic. Are the wealthy people shrinking? Are the wealthy people, are the poor people shrinking? What's going on? I always like to look at median income, average income. Two different things. Google it if you don't know the difference. With that being said, don't get distracted by the illusion. The great illusion. All of this is an illusion. All of this is to manipulate your perception. Period, point blank. And some of it you can be fooled by. But as long as you're fooled by 5% less than the general public, it's 5%. Maybe not even 5%. 0.2% less than the general public, you have a house advantage. That's how I want you to look at this. Is a house advantage. Because you know, when you go to the casinos, the house always has an advantage over you.
Correct.
Right? There's only one game, if you know how to count cards, that you can get like a 0.1%. So you got 50.1% advantage over the house. And they got 49.9%.
You talking about blackjack?
Yep. But here's the thing. You got to know how to count cards. You got to know how to count cards so good that you're not too good for to catch you and ban you. But also the other thing is that 0.1%, it only works when you do it a lot. You can't just be like, I'm going to play one hand and think that you're going to win at a 0.1% advantage. You got to have a lot of money and like do it over time. I know a good friend of mine who's a professional blackjack player that does it because he did it so well that he got banned. And then he had to take a break. And then he goes to the smaller casinos. And he does it well enough to not get banned.
Oh, wow.
Like he keeps it down.
Dang.
And so I want you to think about that like this. You got a 0.1, more than, I think it's more than, based on everything I just shared with you, you got more than 0.1% advantage over the house by doing some of these things. Put together a plan. You got to do everything, but put together a plan. Figure out how you can take all this information and apply it to your investing strategy. Take advantage of that and run with it. What would actually be a really good idea for the next candidate?
If we have one.
Right, if we have one. I don't think we will, but that's just my... I think you're going to drag this war out so much so that by the time it's time to go, you know, for the next election, he's going to figure out how to be like, we're in a horrible war. We can't change power now. Let's sign this one-time decree to keep me in for 4 more years. He's going to do exactly what Putin did. He wasn't supposed to be the king, the czar. He's supposed to be in normal terms. So, but what would be great? So here's 2 predictions. Either that's going to happen, or Gavin Newsom is going to be the next president. It goes into a conspiracy that is very much so a conspiracy. Don't want to talk about it right now because you have to go. By the way, it's Brandon's daughter's birthday. Shout out to baby girl.
Yeah, she turned 7 today. 7. Nowhere.
The last thing I want to say is, if someone does run, I think it would be a really good idea for them to run on a platform. I don't know, it could probably go horribly, of saying like, y'all need somebody to responsibly usher in this market correction. And I will handle it. Donald Trump set us up for the market correction. Here are where the signs are pointing, and I'll handle it. It's going to be a bumpy road, but you need someone responsible to be able to do it. Nicole for presidency. Purvy for president. Oh, Purvy for president 2028.
I want to say the level of ego of our president wrapped up in one sentence. Maybe not one sentence. Maybe
ahead.
2 sentences.
Uh-huh.
Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one. In Iran, there will be nothing like it. Open the f***ing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump.
Let me just remind you that someone placed a bet on Polymarket that said, I bet you that he will say praise be to Allah on Easter. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You just see in your face look like you saw ghosts. Which goes back to my whole issue.
I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that he said praise be to Allah on Easter.
He's playing with y'all. That I probably should have brought that up. He's playing with y'all. This is why
AC.
they are manipulating the market. AC?
AC.
Sure. If y'all take a guess. Do you want to say it?
No, they can guess what
Y'all
AC
can guess
is.
what AC means. Let me know in the comments. I'll let you.
AC.
If you don't know what AC means.
And we ain't talking about
Brandon,
cool.
this is Brandon's theory.
You got your own AC
I got
theory.
my own AC theory.
Okay, this is my AC theory.
It's hint revelations.
You gave them the answer now. Now they
I'll
gonna
take it
figure it
out.
out.
I'll take it out.
They gonna figure it out.
They should figure it out. I don't want them to be confused.
Yeah, leave it
This
in
is
there.
Brandon's theory.
Praise be to Allah on Easter.
Nicole Purvy for president 2020.
That's your music.
No, my slogan is going to be.
You know the normal music is that dun, 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 but yours gonna be the when it come on dun, 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 dun.
No, my slogan going to be.
Probably some
No,
Jeezy.
my government going to be. No, my slogan going to be government, no dictator.
I ate noodles with no
Government, no dictator,
Government, no dictator.
no communist.